Today I am going to go over working with checks in QuickBooks. I don't write checks anymore. I hear a lot of my clients say. And for many customers, the debit cards, smartphone payments, and online banking have all replaced the old paper checkbook. And that's fine. If you're at Starbucks and Office Depot, use that debit card. That is perfectly reasonable. But in QuickBooks, when I say working with checks, yes, it is set up in a check format, but it is not only for the use of writing a physical check. QuickBooks provides tools that help you create, print, and track checks or payments for the business, but you don't just head to the right checks window every time something needs to be paid. There are numerous times when you record a payment in a different area of the program. Just for an example, let's say you entered a bill at the beginning of the month and you're going to go pay it. That's going to be done through the Pay Bills feature, not through the Write Checks feature. Some more examples would be paying your employees. You would not pay your employees with a check. You would actually pay them with a paycheck in QuickBooks, so that would be through the Employee Center. Submitting payroll taxes and liabilities is going to be a liability check, which is actually created in your pay liability window on QuickBooks. Also, your sales tax. Paying your sales tax would not be done through the normal write checks. It would actually be done through your managed sales tax in QuickBooks. So if it is payroll, if you're paying a bill that you have entered a bill into QuickBooks for, if you're paying payroll liabilities or sales tax, this video is not going to help on that. We are strictly going to go over the normal expenses that are not put in QuickBooks as bills. So to jump right in, let's say we went to Office Depot and got a bunch of office supplies. We need to record that in QuickBooks. What do? Okay, so here we are. We're on our home screen of QuickBooks. This is a sample company file. And we are going to go to this icon here, Write Checks. When this opens, you'll notice the top portion actually looks like you're filling out a check. This is just for the ease and convenience of knowing where all the information goes. And then before I get started filling in this check, I always say tab is your best friend in QuickBooks. It saves a lot of time. So I'm going to be tabbing through each area and explaining it to you. So the bank account. This drop down arrow here shows all of the bank accounts that you have set up for your business. Make sure you're choosing the right one when you are writing a check in QuickBooks. The next field is the check number. If you're writing a physical check, then I would definitely put in a check number. If you're using your debit card or you use electronic funds transfer, different stuff like that, you can leave it blank or you can leave yourself a note like EFT or debit card. A lot of my clients do that just to keep track of how they are paying for things. Next is your date, which is pretty self-explanatory. When did this expense happen? Next is pay to the order of. So who are you paying? So we went to Office Depot. Okay, so I start typing and I don't see Office Depot in my vendor list. A vendor, again, is money that you are paying out to other people. So they are expenses. That's what vendors are. I do not see it, so I'm going to continue to type Office Depot. And then I'm going to tab out of that field. QuickBooks is going to tell me Office Depot is not in your name list. What do you want to do? You can cancel to get rid of it. Usually for vendors like Office Depot, Walmart, King Soopers, stuff like that, I just do a quick add. QuickBooks is going to ask me, is it a vendor, customer, employee, or other? I'm going to say vendor and press OK. Now QuickBooks has added Office Depot as a vendor, so I will not have to add them next time I go there for office supplies. Next, you have your amount field, and that's going to be how much did you pay Office Depot. So let's just say we paid $120 for office supplies. I tab out of that field. The address window is if you actually set up the vendor and you have an address in there. It'll automatically populate that for you. If you're not actually sending them physical checks, it's not that important. Memo. If you want a memo, you can use this feature here. So you can say 2 boxes of printer paper, ink, and pens. So you can keep track of what you're spending money on. And next, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a tabbed register. The expenses tab should be highlighted and the amount of your checks entered should automatically be applied. If you click under account, this down arrow, QuickBooks gives you a list of your chart of accounts. So you need to choose where to code this transaction. And I'm just going to start typing office supplies, and you see it finds it, and I tab over. So now we have our account and our amount. We have which bank account it's going to, the date, how much, and to whom. So you're good. It's done. Then it's as simple as save and close or save and new if you have more checks to enter. Just a quick note, you would only enter the expenses under this items tab if you were buying inventory items or paying job related costs. So if you do not have inventory, or if you're not tracking inventory in QuickBooks, and if you don't have job related costs, just always make sure the tab is on expenses. We can save and close, and you are done writing a check. Now QuickBooks makes the mechanics of writing checks easy. Simple as it is though, a lot can go wrong for if you issue a check from the wrong screen. So if you're paying employees through this write checks icon, not good. If you classify a check incorrectly or you skip a step, things could go wrong. If you're new to check writing in QuickBooks or are confused about any of the attributes of writing checks in QuickBooks, please don't hesitate to contact the office to set up a one-on-one learning session where we can go through your questions and give you more background and knowledge of QuickBooks. The number here is 719-371-4030, and that is it for this lesson.